We will talk momentarily with Congresswoman Michele Bachmann, and we have Senator Arlen Specter with us here on the Big Talker 1210. Let's welcome the senator in. He is our first arriving guest. He's the only one that's on time here tonight. Senator, step up to the Big Talker microphones, and thank you very much for joining us here in your neck of the woods here in the Capitol.
When I'm invited to be on the Don Diogiano show or any show on the Big Talker with all the listeners you have and the political impact, I'm on time.
Well, thank you, Senator. Thanks very much. This first year, you have been a central figure, as you always are, in any administration, but particularly in this administration. What are some of the highlights to Arlen Specter here?
Well, the fact that we have elected the first African-American president of the United States is historic. The excitement which he created during his campaign and has carried over, his accessibility. Shortly after he was elected, he invited me, for example, in early February to come in and talk about what I consider to be priorities. And he has had quite a long string of legislative achievements if you take a look at what he has done. He has passed the Helping Families Save Their Home Act. He has signed into law, helped pass the Fraud Enforcement and Recovery Act, the Small Business Temporary Extension Act, of course the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act, Children's Health Insurance Reauthorization Act, SCHIP, and a long, long list.
So it is a long list versus the one that everybody, Senator, of course, is focused on, health care. Talking about the accomplishments of this year, what message did you take personally, and what message do you think Washington should take from yesterday's election results?
That there are a lot of problems in the country that need to be addressed, and the foremost problem is jobs, is economic recovery and putting America back to work. That has to be our priority. And we have to keep a close eye on the deficit and the national debt. I think Americans are very uneasy about their own future, their own jobs, whether they'll be able to afford health care. They are very disgruntled, and understandably so, about what Wall Street has done, that there's not been enough attention to Main Street as contrasted with Wall Street.
So can I interrupt, Senator? I didn't hear a whole lot of that, and I don't dispute you. You may be hearing it differently. Yesterday, it seemed to be, in all the surveying, all the polling data that I saw, a lot of those folks were voting for Brown to become the 41st vote, to stop this health care process, and to move in some other direction with it.
Well, I think that's a very significant factor, but I think there's more to it. I travel the state extensively, as you know, and during August had town meetings, as I always do, but these were unusually well attended. First one, we had it off free day, went to Lebanon. Ordinarily, when I go to Lebanon, I get 85 to 100 people. On this occasion, I had more than 1,000. I had live television trucks from 3 of the major
Yeah, and I wanted to
networks.
personally, and maybe you didn't hear it, commend you, too. You were one of the people, because you knew there was going to be some heat there, that did this, and there were a number of very good moments, I think, for you, principally there, listening to people and challenging some, versus some who would not hold these town hall meetings. That is certainly to your credit, and our listeners recognize that.
I was criticized by my opponent, Congressman Shestak, for having that town meeting, but while he was safely in his own office.
Let me bring in, if you don't mind, Senator, Congresswoman Michele Bachmann is also with us here on the Big Talker 1210. I'm sure you two have know each other. Congresswoman, if you could put that mic down a little bit, if we could help you. Congresswoman, let me ask you, your takeaway of this first year of President Obama's administration. Senator Specter did come prepared tonight with a long list of legislative achievements. What's your takeaway from this very first year?
Well, I think the American people thoroughly rejected what happened in 2009. It was the policies of the president and the policies of the Democrat majority that they completely rejected. And I think if you have to put a tagline on what happened in 2009, it would have to be the federal government takeover of private industry after private industry. Everything from the government taking over GM and Chrysler, the largest insurance company in the United States, AIG, banks, the secondary mortgage companies, Fannie and Freddie, and then also the student loan industry. The American people said, wait a minute, stop. We don't want the federal government taking over any more of the private economy. And then when you look at health care, that's an additional 18%. An economist from Arizona State University calculated that by January of 2009, the federal government had already taken over 30% of the economy. This would be an additional 18% of the economy with health care. What a dramatic change in the way America does business if effectively the federal government owns or controls half of our economy.